Today, we're diving into Resilience Against the Storm, the Dhammapada's Guide to a Balanced Life. Join us on this enlightening journey. If you appreciate the Buddha's teachings, please help us share this wisdom by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Thank you for being with us. Introduction: Resilience Against the Storm. In the heart of ancient wisdom lies the Dhammapada, a collection of verses attributed to the Buddha that illuminate the path to enlightenment. Among its profound teachings, one verse stands out for its compelling imagery and relevance to our contemporary lives. Just as a storm throws down a weak tree, so does Mara overpower the man who lives for the pursuit of pleasures, who is uncontrolled in his senses, immoderate in eating, indolent, and dissipated. This teaching serves as a poignant reminder of the inherent vulnerabilities that arise when we succumb to unchecked desires and distractions. Just as a storm can uproot even the sturdiest of trees, so too can the relentless pursuit of pleasure and indulgence uproot our inner peace, leaving us susceptible to the turmoil of life. As we delve into the meaning of this verse, we will uncover its implications for modern society and explore how cultivating resilience against such temptations can lead to a more harmonious existence. The nature of Mara. Mara, often portrayed in Buddhist tradition as a personification of temptation, embodies the challenges we face in our journey through life. In today's fast-paced world, Mara manifests in myriad forms: the alluring glow of our smartphones, the enticing advertisements that promise happiness through consumption, the pressure to achieve and excel at any cost, and the insatiable quest for pleasure that leaves us feeling empty. The irony of modern existence is that, despite unprecedented access to information and material wealth, many find themselves increasingly disconnected from their inner selves and the world around them. In many ways, our society mirrors the conditions of a storm: chaotic, tumultuous, and unpredictable. Just as the storm threatens the stability of the tree, so does the external environment challenge our mental and emotional fortitude. The constant bombardment of stimuli can lead to sensory overload, resulting in a fragmented sense of self. In this state, we often fall prey to fleeting pleasures, whether through social media, binge-watching shows, or excessive consumption of food and substances, believing that these distractions will bring us fulfillment. Yet, as the Buddha teaches, the pursuit of pleasure without mindfulness is a double-edged sword. It provides temporary satisfaction but ultimately leads to suffering. When we live solely for the pursuit of pleasure, we become like a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the winds of desire, fear, and anxiety. We become vulnerable to Mara's influence, allowing ourselves to be led astray from our true path. Cultural reflections. To understand the relevance of this teaching today, we must examine the cultural landscape in which we find ourselves. The rise of technology and social media has fundamentally altered the way we interact with one another and ourselves. On one hand, we have access to a wealth of information and connection. On the other hand, we are bombarded with curated images of perfection that foster comparison and dissatisfaction. The incessant noise of notifications, messages, and updates creates an environment in which stillness and contemplation are often sacrificed for immediate gratification. In a culture that glorifies busyness and achievement, we are frequently conditioned to equate our worth with our productivity. This mindset encourages us to chase after accomplishments, possessions, and experiences, often at the expense of our well-being. The constant pursuit of external validation leads to a cycle of craving and clinging that ultimately leaves us feeling unfulfilled and restless. The modern obsession with instant gratification is echoed in our eating habits, social interactions, and even our spiritual practices. We often engage in immoderate consumption, whether it be food, information, or experiences, without pausing to reflect on the impact it has on our minds and bodies. This lack of mindfulness fosters a disconnection from our true selves, leading to feelings of emptiness and dissatisfaction. The weak tree and personal vulnerability. To grasp the full significance of the verse from the Dhammapada, we must consider the metaphor of the weak tree. A tree that lacks strong roots is vulnerable to external forces. Similarly, our ability to withstand the storms of life depends on the strength of our inner foundation. This strength is cultivated through self-discipline, mindfulness, and a commitment to living a life of purpose. The qualities of a weak tree, lack of roots, susceptibility to the storm, reflect the consequences of living a life dominated by unchecked desires. When we indulge in sensory pleasures without restraint, we weaken our mental and emotional resilience. Over time, this indulgence can lead to negative habits that erode our well-being. Consider the impact of a moderate eating habits, for instance. In the short term, indulging in rich foods may bring pleasure, but over time, it can lead to health issues, decreased energy, and a diminished sense of vitality. Similarly, constantly scrolling through social media might provide a temporary escape, but it often leaves us feeling anxious, inadequate, or lonely. This cycle of indulgence ultimately weakens our ability to cope with life's challenges, making us more susceptible to the storms that inevitably come our way. Cultivating mindfulness and moderation. In contrast, cultivating mindfulness and moderation serves as a powerful antidote to the influence of Mara. Mindfulness allows us to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, providing clarity and insight into the patterns that govern our behaviors. By becoming aware of our desires, we can recognize when they arise and choose how to respond rather than react impulsively. Moderation, on the other hand, encourages us to practice restraint in our consumption and actions. It invites us to seek balance rather than excess, allowing us to enjoy life's pleasures without becoming ensnared by them. In a world that often glorifies excess, practicing moderation is an act of rebellion, a declaration that we will not allow external influences to dictate our choices. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives can be as simple as pausing before eating to appreciate our food, reflecting on our motivations before engaging in social media, or taking a few moments to breathe deeply and ground ourselves during moments of stress. By cultivating these practices, we develop a stronger foundation that helps us weather life's storms. Ending hatred through understanding. One of the most profound impacts of cultivating mindfulness and moderation is the ability to foster compassion and understanding in our relationships. When we practice self-awareness, we become more attuned to our emotions and those of others. This increased awareness allows us to respond with kindness rather than react with anger or frustration. In a society marked by division and hostility, the teachings of the Buddha provide a pathway toward healing. By recognizing the shared human experience of suffering, we can develop empathy for others, even those who may oppose or challenge us. The practice of compassion becomes a powerful force for ending hatred and fostering peace within ourselves and our communities. When we learn to see our own vulnerabilities, we cultivate an understanding that others, too, are grappling with their storms. This understanding fosters connections built on empathy and mutual support, creating a sense of belonging that transcends superficial differences. Practical applications for a balanced life. In our quest for a more balanced life, it is essential to ground the teachings of the Dhammapada in practical applications. We can integrate the wisdom of mindfulness and moderation into our daily routines, creating a lifestyle that promotes resilience and well-being. Simple practices, such as maintaining a gratitude journal, can shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, fostering contentment and appreciation for the present moment. Engaging in regular physical activity can help us cultivate both physical and mental strength, empowering us to face challenges with confidence. Creating boundaries around our technology use can provide space for reflection and connection with ourselves and others. Additionally, seeking supportive communities can help us stay committed to our growth. Surrounding ourselves with like-minded individuals who prioritize mindfulness and moderation can reinforce our resolve to resist the influences of Mara. These connections provide encouragement and accountability, helping us navigate the complexities of life with greater ease. A call to inner resilience. The teachings of the Buddha serve as a guiding light in our journey toward inner resilience. In a world fraught with distractions and temptations, we are called to cultivate strength in the face of external storms. By understanding the nature of Mara and recognizing the consequences of unchecked desires, we empower ourselves to make conscious choices that align with our values. The path to resilience is not a one-time achievement, it is a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth. As we embrace mindfulness and moderation, we learn to navigate the challenges of life with grace and wisdom. We discover that true fulfillment lies not in the fleeting pleasures of the moment, but in the cultivation of a balanced, purposeful life. Ultimately, the teachings of the Dhammapada remind us that we have the power to shape our realities. As we cultivate resilience against the storms of life, we create a foundation for lasting peace, both within ourselves and in our relationships with others. It is through this journey that we can truly embody the essence of the Buddha's teachings and navigate the complexities of the modern world with compassion, clarity, and courage. Understanding Mara, the temptation of modern life. In the intricate tapestry of life, there exists a constant battle between desire and discipline. This struggle is vividly captured in the Buddhist concept of Mara, a figure often associated with temptation, desire, and distraction. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha warns us that just as a storm can uproot a weak tree, Mara can overpower those who live solely for the pursuit of pleasure and are uncontrolled in their senses. As we navigate the complexities of modern society, understanding Mara becomes essential for cultivating resilience, self-control, and ultimately, inner peace. The nature of Mara. Mara represents more than just a mythical figure from Buddhist texts, it embodies the internal and external forces that lead us astray from our true purpose. In a world overflowing with distractions, social media notifications, consumer advertising, and the never-ending quest for instant gratification, Mara takes on a tangible form. It is the impulse to scroll through our phones for hours, the craving for unhealthy foods, or the desire to indulge in fleeting pleasures that offer little in terms of long-term fulfillment. The relentless pursuit of these external pleasures often leads to internal turmoil. When we are captivated by what Mara offers, we tend to lose sight of our goals, values, and well-being. Modern society, characterized by its emphasis on individualism and material success, often glorifies a lifestyle centered around hedonism. This glorification further entrenches the idea that happiness is found in the constant accumulation of possessions and experiences, leading many to live lives governed by superficial desires. The pursuit of pleasures. Mara's influence is most evident in the modern obsession with pleasure and instant gratification. Our cultural landscape promotes the idea that happiness is attainable through consumption, be it through material goods, experiences, or digital validation. Social media platforms are rife with curated images of glamorous lifestyles, exotic vacations, and lavish possessions, creating a relentless pressure to conform and compete. This perpetual chase for pleasure creates a cycle of dissatisfaction. As we chase the next high, whether from a shopping spree, a lavish meal, or social media likes, we often find ourselves feeling empty once the moment passes. The fleeting nature of pleasure leaves many feeling unfulfilled, leading to a deeper yearning for something more substantial. This is where the teachings of the Buddha become particularly relevant. They guide us to understand that true happiness cannot be found in external circumstances but rather in cultivating a balanced and disciplined mind. Cultural reflections. In today's society, the battle against Mara is particularly pronounced. The rise of technology and social media has transformed the way we interact with the world and ourselves. While these advancements offer convenience and connectivity, they also foster a culture of distraction. Notifications, advertisements, and the allure of endless content keep us engaged but often at the cost of our mental health and well-being. The prevalence of anxiety, depression, and stress in modern life can be traced back to our inability to manage these distractions effectively. The pursuit of pleasure has taken on a new form, manifesting as an addiction to digital validation or an incessant desire for more likes, more followers, more experiences. As we fall prey to these temptations, we often forget the deeper values of mindfulness, compassion, and moderation that can lead to genuine fulfillment. Moreover, the societal pressure to achieve and maintain a particular lifestyle often fuels feelings of inadequacy and failure. People find themselves chasing unattainable standards of success, believing that happiness lies in external validation. This relentless pursuit can leave individuals feeling lost, as they neglect their own needs and well-being in favor of meeting societal expectations. The importance of strength. Understanding Mara is crucial for cultivating inner strength. Just as a tree must have deep roots to withstand the force of a storm, we too must develop resilience to navigate life's challenges. This strength comes from self-awareness and the ability to recognize when we are being influenced by external temptations. Self-discipline is a vital component of this inner strength. It requires the ability to pause, reflect, and make conscious choices rather than reacting impulsively to desires. In practical terms, this might mean limiting time spent on social media, choosing nutritious foods, or resisting the urge to indulge in procrastination. Developing strength in the face of temptation is a gradual process. It begins with small, intentional actions that align with our values. For instance, practicing mindfulness can help us become aware of our thoughts and feelings, allowing us to distinguish between genuine desires and those influenced by Mara. Mindfulness encourages us to be present in the moment, fostering a sense of clarity and focus that can combat the distractions of modern life. Self-control and moderation. The Buddha emphasized the importance of moderation as a means to counteract Mara's influence. A moderation, whether in eating, spending, or seeking pleasure, leads to chaos and suffering. In a culture that often glorifies excess, practicing moderation can feel countercultural, yet it is essential for maintaining balance in our lives. To practice moderation, we can begin by evaluating our habits and making conscious changes. This might involve adopting mindful eating practices, where we pay attention to our food, savoring each bite, and recognizing when we are full. It could also mean setting limits on screen time, allowing ourselves to enjoy technology without becoming enslaved by it. In addition to moderation in consumption, self-control can manifest in how we respond to our emotions. Instead of allowing anger or frustration to dictate our actions, we can cultivate the ability to pause and reflect before responding. This practice of self-regulation can lead to healthier relationships and a more peaceful existence. Practical techniques. Incorporating practical techniques into our daily routines can help combat the influence of Mara. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation or breath awareness, create moments of stillness that allow us to reconnect with ourselves. These practices foster a sense of calm, enabling us to navigate the storms of life with greater ease. Journaling is another effective tool for self-reflection and awareness. Writing down our thoughts, feelings, and experiences allows us to examine our desires and motivations critically. This process can illuminate patterns of behavior influenced by Mara and help us identify areas where we can cultivate greater discipline and moderation. Establishing a daily routine that prioritizes well-being is also crucial. Incorporating activities that promote physical, mental, and emotional health, such as exercise, time spent in nature, and social connections, can counteract the negative effects of indulgence and distraction. Additionally, surrounding ourselves with a supportive community can help reinforce our commitment to living a balanced life. Engaging with individuals who share similar values fosters accountability and encouragement in our journey toward self-discipline and mindfulness. The cycle of suffering. Failing to recognize and confront Mara can lead to a cycle of suffering that permeates various aspects of our lives. This cycle often begins with a moment of indulgence, whether in food, entertainment, or material possessions. Initially, the experience may bring temporary pleasure, however, it is frequently followed by feelings of guilt, regret, or emptiness. The consequences of this cycle extend beyond individual experiences. As we succumb to the allure of pleasure, we may neglect our relationships, responsibilities, and personal growth. The insatiable pursuit of gratification can lead to disconnection from ourselves and others, fostering feelings of isolation and loneliness. In a societal context, this cycle contributes to a culture of competition, comparison, and dissatisfaction. The emphasis on external validation breeds resentment and hostility, further perpetuating the cycle of hatred and discontent. Recognizing this cycle is the first step toward breaking free from its grip. Indolence and dissipation. Another facet of Mara's influence is the tendency toward indolence and dissipated living. In a fast-paced world filled with distractions, it is easy to fall into patterns of laziness, procrastination, and disengagement. The allure of comfort often outweighs the drive to pursue meaningful goals and aspirations. Indolence manifests in various ways, whether through excessive screen time, neglecting physical health, or avoiding challenging tasks. This disengagement leads to a sense of stagnation, leaving individuals feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from their purpose. Combating indolence requires a proactive approach. Setting clear goals and intentions can provide motivation and direction. Breaking tasks into manageable steps allows individuals to cultivate a sense of accomplishment, gradually building momentum toward their aspirations. Engaging in activities that spark joy and creativity can also counteract feelings of indolence. Whether through artistic expression, volunteering, or pursuing hobbies, finding purpose in daily activities fosters a sense of fulfillment that transcends the superficial pleasures offered by Mara. Real-life stories. To illustrate the impact of Mara on individuals' lives, consider the story of Sarah, a young professional who fell into the cycle of excessive work and social media consumption. Initially, Sarah found herself driven by the desire for recognition and success. However, as she dedicated more time to her career and online presence, she neglected her relationships and well-being. The initial thrill of accomplishment was soon replaced by feelings of anxiety, loneliness, and dissatisfaction. Through self-reflection and mindfulness practices, Sarah began to recognize the influence of Mara in her life. She started setting boundaries around her work hours, limiting her social media usage, and prioritizing quality time with friends and family. Over time, Sarah discovered a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment, illustrating how awareness and discipline can help individuals break free from the grasp of temptation. Another example is that of David, who struggled with binge eating and feelings of guilt afterward. His pursuit of pleasure through food became a way to cope with stress and emotions. After attending a mindfulness workshop, David learned to practice mindful eating, savoring each bite and recognizing his body's signals of hunger and fullness. Through this practice, he developed a healthier relationship with food and began to find fulfillment beyond mere indulgence. Understanding Mara and its influence in modern society is crucial for cultivating resilience, self-discipline, and inner peace. By recognizing the temptations that arise in our lives and practicing moderation, mindfulness, and self-awareness, we can navigate the challenges of contemporary life with strength and purpose. As we confront the allure of pleasure and distraction, we equip ourselves with the tools necessary to withstand the storms that life presents. Embracing these teachings allows us to break free from the cycle of suffering and find lasting fulfillment in our lives, ultimately leading to a more compassionate and peaceful existence. The consequences of indulgence. In the fast-paced world we inhabit today, the temptation to indulge in sensory pleasures is ever present. From the allure of endless scrolling through social media to the immediate gratification of fast food, our lives are filled with opportunities to indulge in the ephemeral. However, this pursuit often comes at a significant cost, manifesting in various ways that affect not only our personal well-being but also our relationships and society as a whole. The nature of indulgence. Indulgence, in its essence, is the act of giving into our desires without restraint. The Buddha's teachings remind us that indulging in our senses, whether through food, entertainment, or material possessions, can lead to a loss of control, mirroring the weak tree that falls to the storm. When we fail to exercise self-discipline, we become vulnerable to external influences, which can destabilize our emotional and mental health. Consider the case of food, a central aspect of many cultures. In our modern society, it has transformed into a complex web of pleasure-seeking behavior. The availability of fast food, sugary snacks, and highly processed meals caters to our desires for quick satisfaction but often neglects the needs of our bodies. The consequences are stark. Rising rates of obesity, diabetes, and other lifestyle-related diseases are symptoms of a culture that prioritizes immediate gratification over long-term health. The cycle of suffering. This cycle of indulgence can lead to profound suffering. Initially, indulging in pleasures may provide a momentary escape or a rush of joy. However, as the Buddha pointed out, this joy is fleeting. When we indulge excessively, the initial pleasure gives way to negative repercussions, guilt, shame, and physical discomfort. This creates a cycle where one indulgence leads to another, hoping to recapture the fleeting joy of the first. This cycle of seeking and subsequent suffering can be relentless. Take, for example, the role of technology and social media in our lives. The instant gratification of likes, shares, and comments can lead to an addiction to online validation. Many find themselves caught in a cycle of constantly checking their devices, seeking approval from others. This compulsive behavior often leads to feelings of inadequacy and anxiety when the virtual affirmation doesn't match expectations. In this way, the pursuit of pleasure through social media not only detracts from our mental health but also hampers our ability to engage meaningfully with those around us. The weakness of the untrained mind. The Buddha's metaphor of the weak tree falling in a storm also speaks to the vulnerability that arises when we lack training in self-discipline and mindfulness. In a society that often promotes the idea of treating yourself, the notion of restraint can seem outdated or even punitive. Yet, without the ability to moderate our desires, we become easy prey for the storms of life, stress, peer pressure, and societal expectations. A lack of mental training manifests as impulsivity and a failure to reflect on our actions. For instance, in today's culture of consumption, many people purchase items not out of necessity but due to the influence of marketing, societal trends, or emotional triggers. This leads to a home filled with clutter and a life filled with regret over wasted resources. Without the mental clarity to discern true needs from fleeting desires, we often find ourselves drowning in the consequences of our actions. Indolence and dissipation. Indolence, or laziness, is another aspect of this discourse on indulgence. In the face of life's demands, it can be tempting to choose the path of least resistance. While rest and leisure are essential for our well-being, a lifestyle characterized by idleness leads to stagnation. When we allow ourselves to be consumed by passivity, binge-watching television, endlessly scrolling through social media, or delaying important tasks, we dissipate our potential and energy. This passivity fosters a culture of disengagement, where individuals become mere spectators in their own lives. The fulfillment that comes from pursuing meaningful goals, nurturing relationships, and contributing to society is replaced by a superficial sense of satisfaction derived from momentary distractions. The resulting lack of purpose can breed resentment, frustration, and even hatred, not only towards oneself but also towards others who seem to be thriving. Real-life stories of indulgence and recovery. To illustrate the dangers of indulgence, we can look to real-life examples. Consider the story of Sarah, a young professional who found herself entangled in the web of fast-paced living. Overwhelmed by the demands of her job, she sought comfort in takeout meals, binge-watching her favorite shows, and scrolling through social media to escape her reality. Initially, these activities provided a temporary sense of relief. However, as the weeks turned into months, Sarah noticed a significant decline in her physical health and mental well-being. She felt increasingly anxious, disconnected from friends, and dissatisfied with her life. Recognizing the impact of her indulgent habits, Sarah sought to change her lifestyle. She began by incorporating mindfulness practices into her daily routine. Instead of mindlessly eating while watching TV, she committed to preparing meals at home, focusing on nourishing ingredients and mindful eating. She set boundaries on her screen time, dedicating evenings to reading, exercising, and reconnecting with loved ones. Over time, Sarah rediscovered her passion for cooking, improved her mental health, and forged deeper connections with friends and family. This journey highlights the potential for transformation when one confronts the consequences of indulgence. It shows that while the storms of life may threaten to uproot us, cultivating strength and resilience allows us to weather these challenges. Understanding and accepting vulnerability. To navigate the challenges of modern life effectively, it's crucial to accept our vulnerability. Rather than resisting our weaknesses, we can learn to understand them. The Buddha's teachings encourage us to confront our desires and the suffering they can bring, rather than denying or suppressing them. This approach fosters self-compassion and honesty. Acknowledging our vulnerabilities allows us to develop a balanced perspective on pleasure and pain. Instead of viewing indulgence as a source of shame, we can recognize it as a natural part of the human experience. This awareness empowers us to make conscious choices rather than succumbing to the whims of desire. Building resilience. Resilience is not merely the ability to endure hardships but also the capacity to grow from them. In today's society, where challenges are abundant and pressures are high, building resilience becomes essential. By practicing self-discipline and mindfulness, we can cultivate a stronger foundation that enables us to withstand the storms of life. Self-discipline allows us to establish healthy routines that prioritize our well-being. Whether it's committing to regular exercise, engaging in meaningful hobbies, or fostering nurturing relationships, these practices create a protective buffer against the vulnerabilities that indulgence exposes. When we invest in our personal growth and mental health, we cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment that shields us from the storm. Finding balance in modern life. As we navigate the complexities of modern living, finding balance is key. This balance does not imply the complete rejection of pleasure, rather, it encourages us to engage with life fully while remaining mindful of our choices. By understanding the nature of indulgence and its consequences, we can begin to create a life that honors our desires without becoming enslaved by them. Mindfulness practices can play a crucial role in this endeavor. Taking moments to pause, reflect, and engage with the present can help us recognize when we are falling into patterns of indulgence. Whether it's a few deep breaths before reaching for a snack or a conscious decision to engage with loved ones without distractions, these small choices can lead to significant changes over time. Incorporating these practices into our lives not only enhances our well-being but also contributes to a more compassionate society. When we prioritize self-discipline and mindfulness, we model healthier behaviors for those around us, inspiring others to reflect on their relationship with indulgence. The importance of community support. Lastly, it's essential to acknowledge the role of community in our journeys toward balance and resilience. Engaging with like-minded individuals can provide accountability and encouragement. Supportive communities foster environments where we can share our struggles and successes, reinforcing our commitment to mindful living. Community activities, such as group meditations, workshops on healthy cooking, or mindful eating challenges, create opportunities for individuals to come together and learn from one another. This collective experience strengthens our resolve to resist the allure of indulgence and cultivates a sense of belonging and shared purpose. The consequences of indulgence. In a world overflowing with options and opportunities for indulgence, the consequences of living a life unchecked by moderation can be dire. The Buddha's teachings in the Dhammapada warn us that succumbing to the pursuit of pleasures without self-control not only weakens our resolve but also can lead to suffering and turmoil. Understanding these consequences is crucial, especially in today's society, where distractions abound and the temptation to indulge is ever present. The cycle of suffering. The Buddha emphasized that indulgence leads to a cycle of suffering. When we chase after sensory pleasures, be it through excessive eating, drinking, entertainment, or consumerism, we often find ourselves trapped in a temporary high followed by deeper lows. This cycle resembles a roller coaster, the exhilarating rise followed by the inevitable drop. Initially, the pleasures we seek can seem fulfilling, providing a quick escape from the pressures and challenges of life. Yet, this fleeting satisfaction often gives way to feelings of emptiness, guilt, or shame. Consider the common practice of binge-watching television shows. In the short term, it offers a delightful escape, allowing us to immerse ourselves in another world. However, the aftermath can bring a sense of discontent and regret. The time spent in front of a screen often leads to feelings of isolation, missed opportunities for meaningful interaction, and neglect of personal goals. The cycle continues as we repeat the behavior to cope with the very feelings that arise from our indulgence. This phenomenon is not unique to television, it extends to various aspects of life, including eating habits. Fast food, laden with sugar and unhealthy fats, may provide instant gratification, yet it often leads to physical discomfort, health issues, and emotional distress. When we seek solace in these indulgences, we momentarily escape our problems, only to return to a more challenging reality. This cycle perpetuates suffering and keeps us bound to negative emotions. Indulgence and mental health. The consequences of indulgence also manifest significantly in our mental health. Research has shown that excessive indulgence can exacerbate feelings of anxiety, depression, and stress. As we chase after pleasure without mindfulness, we often overlook the underlying issues that contribute to our unhappiness. This neglect can lead to a distorted sense of self-worth, as we tie our value to the fleeting pleasures we experience. In a society that often equates success with material wealth and consumption, many individuals find themselves in a constant race to acquire more more possessions, more experiences, more validation. This relentless pursuit fosters a mindset of scarcity, leading to feelings of inadequacy when we fail to achieve these ideals. The pressure to conform to societal expectations creates a breeding ground for dissatisfaction and emotional turmoil. Moreover, the rise of social media has intensified this phenomenon. Platforms designed to connect us have become a double-edged sword, fueling comparisons and envy. As we scroll through curated images of others' lives, we often feel compelled to keep up, indulging in unhealthy behaviors to maintain appearances. This comparison trap can lead to a cycle of self-criticism and further indulgence in distractions to cope with the resulting feelings of inadequacy. The impact of indolence. Indolence, defined as a habitual tendency to avoid activity, often accompanies a life of indulgence. When we indulge excessively, we become complacent, choosing comfort over growth. This state of being can lead to stagnation, where we no longer seek personal development or meaningful engagement with the world around us. In our fast-paced society, where instant gratification is just a click away, many individuals find themselves trapped in a cycle of inactivity. The allure of convenience has replaced the value of effort, leading to a culture of laziness. This indolence manifests in various forms, from procrastination in professional endeavors to neglecting physical health and well-being. The consequences of indolence extend beyond individual experiences, they ripple through society. When people disengage from meaningful activities, communities suffer. Volunteerism, civic engagement, and participation in social causes decline as individuals prioritize personal comfort over collective well-being. This disengagement can contribute to a sense of alienation, as people feel disconnected from their communities and the world at large. Breaking the cycle. Recognizing the cycle of suffering induced by indulgence and indolence is the first step toward breaking free from it. The Buddha's teachings encourage us to cultivate self-awareness and mindfulness, allowing us to observe our thoughts and behaviors without judgment. By understanding the consequences of our actions, we can make more informed choices that align with our values. One powerful tool for breaking this cycle is mindfulness meditation. Taking time each day to sit in stillness and observe the mind can help us become more attuned to our desires and impulses. This practice fosters a greater understanding of the fleeting nature of pleasure, allowing us to respond to cravings with awareness rather than automatic reactions. For instance, when faced with the desire to binge on junk food after a stressful day, mindfulness can help us pause and reflect on the underlying emotions driving that craving. Instead of succumbing to the urge, we might choose to explore healthier alternatives, such as preparing a nutritious meal or engaging in a physical activity that brings joy. In addition to mindfulness, setting clear intentions and boundaries around indulgence can help us maintain a balanced life. This might involve establishing specific times for leisure activities, creating guidelines for healthy eating, or setting limits on screen time. By consciously structuring our lives, we create space for meaningful experiences that nourish our well-being. Embracing healthy alternatives. To overcome the negative impacts of indulgence, we must actively seek out healthier alternatives that align with our values and contribute to our overall well-being. This involves not only reframing our relationship with pleasure but also finding joy in activities that promote growth and connection. Engaging in physical activities, such as yoga, hiking, or dancing, can provide a fulfilling outlet for energy while enhancing our physical and mental health. These activities foster a sense of community and connection, counteracting the isolation that often accompanies indulgence. Cultivating hobbies that spark joy and creativity can also serve as a powerful antidote to the allure of mindless consumption. Whether it's painting, writing, gardening, or playing a musical instrument, these pursuits encourage us to engage with our passions and connect with our authentic selves. Additionally, investing time in nurturing relationships can lead to deeper connections and emotional fulfillment. Instead of seeking validation through superficial interactions on social media, we can prioritize face-to-face connections with family and friends. Shared experiences, whether it's a dinner party, a game night, or a simple walk in the park, create lasting memories and foster a sense of belonging. The role of gratitude. In the face of a culture that often promotes dissatisfaction, cultivating gratitude can be a powerful practice for countering the consequences of indulgence. Gratitude encourages us to appreciate what we have, shifting our focus from what is lacking to the abundance present in our lives. Establishing a gratitude practice, such as keeping a daily journal or sharing moments of appreciation with loved ones, can help us recognize the positive aspects of our experiences. This simple shift in perspective can mitigate feelings of envy and resentment, allowing us to find contentment in the present moment. As we embrace gratitude, we cultivate a deeper sense of awareness regarding our choices and actions. We begin to recognize the impact of our indulgences on our overall well-being, making it easier to prioritize activities that contribute to our happiness and fulfillment. The consequences of indulgence and indolence are pervasive in today's society, often leading to a cycle of suffering that affects both individuals and communities. By understanding these consequences and actively working to cultivate mindfulness, moderation, and gratitude, we can break free from the grip of temptation and create lives that are rich in meaning and connection. The teachings of the Buddha in the Dhammapada remind us that the path to resilience lies in our ability to recognize the forces that seek to overpower us. By embracing self-awareness and making conscious choices, we can navigate the storms of life with strength and grace, ultimately leading us to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. Cultivating mindfulness and moderation. In our fast-paced world, marked by constant distractions and the lure of instant gratification, the teachings of mindfulness and moderation take on unprecedented significance. As we delve into these concepts, we'll explore practical applications that resonate deeply with modern life, offering tools to cultivate balance, peace, and fulfillment. The importance of mindfulness. Mindfulness, at its core, is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the moment. It encourages us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. In an age where technology bombards us with information and stimuli, mindfulness acts as a beacon, guiding us back to our center. Mindfulness is not merely a meditative practice, it is a way of life. It reminds us to slow down, breathe, and appreciate the world around us. Scientific studies support the benefits of mindfulness, showing its ability to reduce stress, enhance emotional regulation, and improve overall well-being. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives helps us break free from the cycle of mindless consumption and the relentless pursuit of pleasure. Practicing mindfulness in everyday life. Mindful eating. One of the most accessible ways to practice mindfulness is through eating. In a society obsessed with convenience, meals often become rushed affairs, consumed while distracted by screens or multitasking. Mindful eating encourages us to savor each bite, recognizing the flavors, textures, and aromas of our food. By slowing down, we become aware of our hunger and satiety cues, leading to healthier eating habits and a more profound appreciation for nourishment. Tip: set aside time for meals without distractions. Turn off your phone and TV, focus on your food, and chew slowly. Notice how this practice transforms your relationship with eating. Mindful breathing. Another foundational practice is mindful breathing. Our breath is a powerful anchor to the present moment. When we feel overwhelmed or anxious, taking a few deep breaths can center us and restore calm. By focusing on our breath, we cultivate awareness and create space for clarity amid chaos. Tip: start each day with a few minutes of mindful breathing. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take deep, slow breaths. Observe the rise and fall of your chest and the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. Mindful technology use. In our digital age, technology often consumes our attention and time. Mindful technology use involves being aware of how and when we engage with our devices. It encourages us to disconnect periodically, allowing us to reconnect with ourselves and our surroundings. Tip: implement tech-free zones or times in your daily routine. For example, designate meal times or an hour before bed as technology-free periods to foster deeper connections with loved ones and enhance your overall well-being. Understanding moderation. Moderation is a key principle in many philosophies and religions, including Buddhism. It advocates for balance in all aspects of life, from our consumption habits to our emotional responses. In today's society, where excess is often glorified, moderation serves as a crucial antidote to the chaos that surrounds us. The dangers of excess. Living in a consumer-driven society, we are inundated with messages that promote excess, more possessions, more experiences, and more indulgence. While seeking pleasure is a natural human inclination, unchecked pursuit can lead to negative consequences. Overindulgence can result in physical ailments, emotional distress, and a profound sense of dissatisfaction. A moderate eating. The relationship between food and pleasure exemplifies the dangers of excess. In the quest for immediate gratification, many find themselves trapped in cycles of binge eating or unhealthy diets. Mindful eating fosters moderation by encouraging us to listen to our bodies and make choices that nurture rather than deplete us. Example: imagine a person who frequently indulges in fast food, seeking comfort in the moment but later experiencing guilt and discomfort. By practicing mindful eating in moderation, they can learn to appreciate the nourishment of wholesome meals while allowing themselves the occasional treat without guilt. Sensory overload. Our senses are constantly bombarded by stimuli, from loud music to flashy advertisements. This sensory overload can lead to feelings of anxiety and restlessness. Moderation teaches us to filter out the noise and focus on what truly matters, allowing us to cultivate a sense of peace and clarity. Example: a person attending a concert may initially revel in the loud music and vibrant lights but eventually feel overwhelmed by the intensity. By practicing moderation, they can choose to step outside for a moment of quiet, returning with a refreshed perspective. Building healthy habits. Developing healthy habits rooted in mindfulness and moderation requires intention and practice. While these concepts may initially seem daunting, small, consistent changes can lead to profound transformations over time. Creating a mindfulness routine. Establishing a daily mindfulness routine is a powerful way to integrate these practices into your life. This routine can include meditation, mindful breathing, and gratitude journaling. By dedicating time each day to mindfulness, you create a foundation for resilience against the storms of life. Example: start with just 5 minutes of meditation each morning. Gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable. Use apps or guided sessions to support your practice, making it easier to stay committed. Setting boundaries. In our hyper-connected world, setting boundaries is essential for maintaining balance. This can involve saying no to excessive commitments, limiting screen time, or creating designated quiet times for reflection and rest. Tip: assess your current commitments and identify areas where you can simplify your life. Focus on activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, letting go of those that drain your energy. Engaging in community practices. Connection with others enhances our mindfulness and moderation efforts. Engage in community practices, such as group meditations or mindfulness workshops, to foster accountability and support. Example: joining a local meditation group provides not only a sense of community but also shared experiences that reinforce your commitment to mindfulness and moderation. Cultivating resilience through challenges. Life is inherently unpredictable, and challenges are an inevitable part of the human experience. By cultivating mindfulness and moderation, we develop the resilience needed to navigate these storms effectively. Responding to stress mindfully. When faced with stressors, our instinctual responses may be reactive or impulsive. Mindfulness allows us to pause, observe our thoughts and feelings, and choose how to respond rather than simply reacting. This practice empowers us to handle challenges with grace and clarity. Example: imagine receiving unexpected criticism at work. Instead of reacting defensively, mindfulness encourages you to take a deep breath, assess the feedback objectively, and respond thoughtfully. Embracing impermanence. Life is characterized by impermanence, and accepting this truth can alleviate suffering. Mindfulness teaches us to appreciate each moment while recognizing that both joy and pain are transient. This understanding fosters resilience and a sense of inner peace. Example: during challenging times, such as loss or disappointment, mindfulness reminds us that these feelings are temporary. By acknowledging the impermanence of emotions, we can navigate grief or frustration with greater ease. Practicing self-compassion. Mindfulness encourages self-compassion, treating ourselves with kindness and understanding, especially during difficult moments. This practice helps us recognize our shared humanity and reduces feelings of isolation. Example: when you find yourself struggling with feelings of inadequacy, practicing self-compassion involves acknowledging your challenges without judgment. Instead of criticizing yourself, remind yourself that everyone faces difficulties and that it's okay to ask for help. The ripple effect of mindfulness and moderation. As we cultivate mindfulness and moderation in our lives, the effects extend beyond ourselves, influencing our relationships and communities. Improved relationships. Mindfulness fosters deeper connections with others. By being present and attentive, we enhance our ability to listen and empathize, strengthening our bonds. This is especially crucial in a world where distractions often hinder meaningful interactions. Example: in conversations, practice active listening by fully engaging with the speaker. Put away your phone, maintain eye contact, and respond thoughtfully. This simple shift can transform your relationships. Creating a culture of mindfulness. As individuals embrace mindfulness and moderation, they can inspire those around them to do the same. This ripple effect has the potential to create a culture that prioritizes well-being and connection over consumption and distraction. Example: organize mindfulness workshops or community events to promote mindfulness practices within your neighborhood or workplace. Encourage open discussions about the importance of balance and self-care. Contributing to social change. On a broader scale, cultivating mindfulness and moderation can contribute to positive social change. By advocating for policies that prioritize mental health, community engagement, and sustainable practices, we can create environments that support well-being for all. Example: get involved in local initiatives focused on mental health awareness or sustainable living. Advocate for practices that align with mindfulness principles, such as supporting local businesses or participating in community gardens. Cultivating mindfulness and moderation is not merely an exercise in self-improvement, it is a transformative journey that impacts every facet of our lives. By embracing these teachings, we foster resilience against the storms of life, nurture our relationships, and contribute to a culture of peace and well-being. In a world that often glorifies excess and distraction, the principles of mindfulness and moderation offer a path back to balance, fulfillment, and genuine connection. Through our practice, we not only improve our own lives but also inspire those around us to join us on this journey towards a more mindful and harmonious existence. Ending hatred through understanding. In today's fast-paced world, where conflict and division seem to reign supreme, the teachings of the Buddha hold a timeless truth: that hatred cannot be extinguished by hatred but by understanding and compassion. This essential principle, deeply rooted in the Dhammapada, is not only relevant but also crucial in our attempts to navigate the complexities of modern society. As we face daily challenges and tensions in our relationships, the cultivation of mindfulness and self-discipline can serve as powerful tools in ending hatred and promoting peace within ourselves and our communities. Hatred often arises from misunderstanding, fear, and the uncontrolled desires that cloud our judgment. In a culture driven by rapid consumption and instant gratification, it is easy to fall into patterns of reaction rather than response. Social media amplifies these tendencies, allowing outrage to spread like wildfire and perpetuating cycles of negativity and divisiveness. The first step toward ending hatred lies in recognizing our triggers and understanding the roots of our emotions. Understanding our triggers. Every individual has their own set of triggers, situations, comments, or actions that provoke strong emotional responses. For some, it might be a political discussion; for others, it could be a personal insult or a social issue they care deeply about. In a society where discourse often devolves into hostility, it becomes imperative to identify and understand these triggers before they lead to hatred. One effective approach is the practice of mindfulness, which encourages us to pause and observe our thoughts and feelings without immediate judgment. Mindfulness helps us cultivate awareness of our emotional landscape, allowing us to recognize when we are feeling triggered. Instead of reacting with anger or resentment, we can step back, breathe, and take a moment to reflect on why we feel this way. This practice doesn't mean suppressing our emotions; rather, it involves acknowledging them and exploring their origins. For instance, if a political discussion escalates into hostility, we can take a moment to ask ourselves, why am I feeling this way? Is it because I feel misunderstood, or am I fearful of the implications of differing views? By exploring these questions, we can shift our perspective and respond with compassion rather than anger. This shift is crucial in breaking the cycle of hatred that often permeates societal discourse. Compassion and connection. Compassion is a powerful antidote to hatred. When we practice compassion, we create space for understanding and connection, not only with ourselves but also with others. The Buddha's teachings remind us that everyone is fighting their own battles, and this shared humanity can be a bridge to deeper understanding. To cultivate compassion, we can begin by practicing self-compassion. This involves treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a friend in distress. When we experience negative emotions, we can ask ourselves, what would I say to a loved one who is feeling this way? This practice helps us recognize that it's okay to feel vulnerable and that our feelings are valid. Once we foster compassion for ourselves, we can extend it to others. This might mean taking a moment to empathize with someone whose opinion differs from ours or acknowledging the struggles of those we may perceive as adversaries. When we approach others with compassion, we create opportunities for dialogue rather than conflict. For example, in a workplace setting, disagreements can often lead to hostility and resentment. However, by practicing compassionate communication, we can transform these situations. Instead of focusing on winning an argument, we can seek to understand the other person's perspective. This approach not only diffuses tension but can also lead to more creative and collaborative solutions. Practicing compassionate communication. Effective communication is at the heart of resolving conflicts and reducing hatred. When engaging with others, particularly in emotionally charged situations, practicing compassionate communication can make a significant difference. Here are some strategies to foster compassionate communication. Active listening. When someone expresses their thoughts or feelings, give them your full attention. This means not only hearing their words but also observing their body language and emotional cues. Reflect back what you've heard to ensure understanding, and avoid interrupting or formulating your response while they speak. Use I statements. When discussing sensitive topics, express your feelings and thoughts using I statements instead of you statements. For example, instead of saying, "You always make me feel angry," try, "I feel upset when our conversations take a heated turn." This approach reduces defensiveness and opens the door to constructive dialogue. Stay calm and centered. It's natural for emotions to run high during disagreements. Practice mindfulness techniques, such as deep breathing, to stay calm. If you feel overwhelmed, it's okay to take a break from the conversation and return when you're more centered. Find common ground. Look for shared values or beliefs that you can both agree upon. This helps to build rapport and creates a foundation for respectful dialogue, even when disagreements exist. Express gratitude. When someone shares their perspective with you, express gratitude for their willingness to engage in conversation. Acknowledging their efforts can create a more positive atmosphere and foster goodwill. Community practices for understanding. Building a culture of understanding and compassion often requires collective effort. Community practices that promote dialogue and connection can help bridge divides and foster peaceful coexistence. Dialogue circles. Organizing dialogue circles within communities can provide a safe space for individuals to share their thoughts, experiences, and feelings. These circles encourage active listening and respectful exchanges, allowing participants to gain insight into different perspectives. Service projects. Engaging in community service can foster a sense of connection and shared purpose among individuals from diverse backgrounds. Working together towards a common goal creates bonds and encourages understanding, breaking down barriers that often lead to division. Workshops on compassion. Hosting workshops focused on mindfulness, empathy, and compassionate communication can equip individuals with practical tools to navigate conflicts. These workshops can foster greater awareness of how unchecked desires and emotional reactions can lead to hatred and discord. Interfaith and cultural exchanges. Encouraging dialogue between different faiths and cultural communities can promote understanding and respect. These exchanges can help individuals recognize the shared values that underpin diverse beliefs, fostering a sense of unity amidst differences. Fostering a mindful society. As we strive to end hatred and cultivate peace, fostering a mindful society is paramount. This involves not only individual practices but also systemic changes that promote well-being and understanding at a larger scale. Mindful media consumption. In an age where media often sensationalizes conflict, it is essential to be mindful of the information we consume. Seek out media sources that promote constructive dialogue and understanding, rather than those that thrive on outrage and division. Encouraging mindfulness in education. Integrating mindfulness practices into educational settings can equip young people with the skills to navigate their emotions and relationships. Programs that teach emotional intelligence and conflict resolution can have a profound impact on future generations. Promoting mental health awareness. Recognizing the link between mental health and our ability to manage emotions is crucial. Communities should prioritize mental health resources and support systems, enabling individuals to process their emotions and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Policy advocacy for compassionate practices. Advocating for policies that prioritize compassion, equity, and understanding can lead to systemic changes in society. This might involve supporting initiatives that promote restorative justice, equitable access to resources, and mental health support. The journey toward peace. Ending hatred is a journey, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort, self-reflection, and a commitment to understanding both ourselves and others. By embracing the Buddha's teachings and practicing mindfulness, we can gradually dismantle the barriers that divide us. Through cultivating awareness of our triggers and emotions, we empower ourselves to respond to challenges with compassion rather than hatred. By practicing compassionate communication, we create opportunities for connection and dialogue, transforming adversarial situations into moments of understanding. As we engage in community practices that foster understanding and compassion, we contribute to a culture that values empathy over division. This collective effort can create a ripple effect, encouraging others to embrace mindfulness and compassion in their interactions. Ultimately, the path to ending hatred and fostering peace is rooted in our ability to connect with our shared humanity. By understanding that we are all vulnerable to the storms of life, we can approach each other with kindness and compassion. This shift in perspective not only transforms our relationships but also contributes to a more peaceful and harmonious society. As we walk this path, we embody the teachings of the Buddha, creating a legacy of understanding, compassion, and peace for future generations. Practical applications for a balanced life. In today's fast-paced world, where distractions abound and the pursuit of pleasure often overshadows our well-being, cultivating a balanced life becomes not just a choice but a necessity. The teachings of the Buddha, particularly regarding mindfulness and moderation, offer us a roadmap for navigating this complexity. By embracing practical applications of these teachings, we can foster resilience, promote inner peace, and enhance our overall quality of life. This exploration of practical strategies will show how integrating these concepts into our daily routines can help us lead more fulfilling and harmonious lives. Mindful practices in daily life. Mindfulness is the cornerstone of Buddhist practice, and its relevance has grown significantly in our contemporary society, especially as people seek solutions to stress and disconnection. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily routines allows us to engage fully with each moment, leading to a more balanced life. Morning mindfulness rituals. The way we begin our day can set the tone for our entire experience. Starting the day with a few moments of mindfulness can help ground us. Consider these practices. Mindful awakening. Instead of jumping out of bed the moment the alarm goes off, take a few minutes to transition from sleep to wakefulness. Focus on your breath, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. As you breathe in and out, reflect on the new day ahead and set a positive intention. Gratitude journaling. Spend a few minutes writing down 3 things you are grateful for. This simple practice can shift your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude has been shown to enhance emotional well-being and resilience, allowing you to face challenges with a more positive outlook. Mindful movement. Whether it's yoga, stretching, or a simple walk around the block, integrating movement into your morning routine can help awaken your body and mind. Focus on how your body feels as you move, grounding yourself in the present moment. Mindful eating. In an era of fast food and multitasking, mindful eating encourages us to reconnect with the act of nourishing our bodies. Here's how you can practice mindful eating. Savoring each bite. When you sit down for a meal, take a moment to appreciate the food before you. Notice the colors, textures, and aromas. As you take each bite, chew slowly and savor the flavors. This practice not only enhances your enjoyment of food but can also lead to healthier eating habits, as you may become more aware of when you're full. Eliminating distractions. Create a designated eating space free from distractions like television or smartphones. By focusing solely on your meal, you cultivate a deeper awareness of what you are consuming and how it affects your body and mind. Portion control. Be mindful of portion sizes, aiming to eat only until you are comfortably full. This practice encourages moderation and helps prevent overindulgence, aligning with the Buddha's teaching on moderation. Mindfulness in communication. Communication is at the heart of our relationships, yet it can often lead to misunderstandings and conflicts when we are not mindful. Practicing mindful communication can enhance our connections with others. Active listening. In conversations, focus on truly listening rather than formulating your response while the other person is speaking. Acknowledge their feelings and thoughts before sharing your perspective. This practice fosters deeper connections and mutual understanding. Thoughtful speech. Before speaking, consider the impact of your words. Ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This simple filter can help you communicate more compassionately and effectively, reducing the likelihood of conflict. Nonviolent communication. Explore the principles of nonviolent communication (NVC), which emphasize expressing feelings and needs without blame or judgment. This technique can transform how we approach difficult conversations and foster a culture of understanding. Mindful technology use. In our digital age, technology can be both a blessing and a curse. While it connects us, it can also distract us from meaningful interactions and experiences. Implementing mindful technology practices can enhance your relationship with your devices. Digital detox. Designate specific times to disconnect from technology, allowing yourself to engage with the world around you. This could mean spending time in nature, reading a physical book, or enjoying quality time with loved ones without screens. Curating your feed. Be intentional about the content you consume on social media. Follow accounts that inspire and uplift you while unfollowing those that contribute to negative emotions or distractions. Creating a positive online environment can enhance your overall well-being. Setting boundaries. Establish boundaries around technology use, such as screen-free zones in your home or limiting device use before bed. These practices promote healthier habits and ensure that technology enhances rather than detracts from your quality of life. Building healthy habits. Creating a balanced life also involves building and maintaining healthy habits that support your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. The following strategies can help you cultivate a lifestyle rooted in balance and mindfulness. Establishing routines. Routines provide structure and predictability, which can be especially beneficial in times of uncertainty. Consider these elements when establishing your daily routines. Morning and evening routines. Create rituals that help you transition into and out of your day. A consistent morning routine sets a positive tone, while an evening routine can help you unwind and reflect on your day. Prioritizing self-care. Schedule regular self-care activities into your routine, whether it's time for exercise, meditation, or pursuing hobbies. Prioritizing self-care is essential for maintaining balance and resilience. Regular check-ins. Allocate time for regular self-reflection. This could be through journaling, meditation, or simple moments of quiet contemplation. Reflecting on your thoughts, feelings, and goals can help you stay aligned with your values and intentions. Creating a supportive environment. Our surroundings significantly influence our mindset and behaviors. Cultivating a supportive environment can enhance our ability to practice mindfulness and moderation. Decluttering. A cluttered space can lead to a cluttered mind. Take the time to declutter your living and workspaces, creating an environment that feels peaceful and conducive to mindfulness. Inspiring surroundings. Surround yourself with reminders of your intentions and values. This could be in the form of quotes, images, or symbols that inspire you to stay committed to your path. Community connections. Engage with communities that share your values and goals. Building connections with like-minded individuals fosters accountability and encouragement on your journey. Setting long-term goals. While cultivating daily practices is essential, setting long-term goals can provide direction and purpose. Here are some strategies for effective goal setting aligned with Buddhist teachings. SMART goals. Using the SMART criteria, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound, can help you create clear and actionable goals. For example, specific. Instead of saying, "I want to eat healthier," specify, "I will eat a vegetable with every meal." Measurable. Set a measurable goal, such as, "I will meditate for 10 minutes every morning." Achievable. Ensure your goals are realistic. If you're new to exercise, start with short walks rather than an hour at the gym. Relevant. Align your goals with your values and intentions, making them personally meaningful. Time-bound. Set a deadline to keep yourself accountable. For instance, "I will read one book on mindfulness each month for the next 3 months." Continuous learning and growth. Embrace the idea of lifelong learning. Explore new mindfulness practices, read books on Buddhism and self-improvement, and attend workshops or retreats. This commitment to growth helps deepen your understanding of the teachings and enhances your ability to apply them practically. Embracing flexibility. Life is dynamic, and our circumstances often change. Embrace flexibility in your goal setting, allowing yourself to adjust as needed. Regularly revisit your goals to assess your progress and make modifications based on your evolving understanding of balance and mindfulness. In the heart of our modern world, where distractions abound and the pursuit of pleasure often overshadows deeper values, the teachings of the Buddha offer a powerful roadmap for navigating the complexities of life. The metaphor of the weak tree succumbing to the storm serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of living without mindfulness and self-discipline. As we reflect on the lessons from the Dhammapada, we find an urgent call to cultivate resilience, confront the forces that lead us astray, and embrace a path that fosters peace, harmony, and understanding. In today's society, the pressures of life can feel overwhelming. Social media, consumer culture, and the relentless push for instant gratification bombard us at every turn. We are often led to believe that happiness lies in the next new gadget, the next viral trend, or the fleeting moments of pleasure that come from indulgence. Yet, as countless studies have shown, this pursuit often leads to a cycle of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and disconnection. The emptiness that follows moments of indulgence can create a profound sense of loneliness, pushing us further away from the meaningful connections we crave. To understand the implications of the Buddha's teachings on our lives, we must first recognize the nature of Mara, the embodiment of temptation and distraction. In a world inundated with choices and distractions, it is easy to lose sight of what truly matters. Mara manifests in various forms, from the compulsion to check our phones constantly to the societal pressure to consume more and more, often at the expense of our well-being. This relentless pursuit pulls us away from our true selves and leads us down a path of dissatisfaction. By examining our lives through the lens of mindfulness, we can begin to see how the pursuit of pleasure often leaves us vulnerable to suffering. Just as a tree that is weak and poorly rooted is easily knocked down by the wind, a mind that lacks discipline and focus is easily swayed by external circumstances. The Buddha teaches us that unchecked desires and distractions can lead to a state of imbalance, where we are more reactive than proactive in shaping our lives. The question then becomes, how do we cultivate the strength and resilience necessary to withstand life's storms? The answer lies in developing a mindful awareness of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Mindfulness invites us to pause and reflect on our daily choices, allowing us to recognize when we are being pulled toward indulgence and distraction. It provides us with the tools to cultivate self-discipline, enabling us to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For instance, the practice of mindful eating encourages us to slow down and savor our meals, fostering a deeper connection to our bodies and our nourishment. This not only enhances our appreciation for food but also helps combat the immoderate habits that can lead to discomfort and regret. Moreover, mindfulness encourages us to cultivate compassion, first for ourselves and then for others. In a society often characterized by competition and judgment, the ability to approach ourselves and those around us with kindness can be transformative. When we recognize our struggles and imperfections, we create space for growth and understanding. This is especially relevant in today's context, where social media can amplify feelings of inadequacy and comparison. By nurturing self-compassion, we can diminish the internal narratives that drive hatred and resentment, both toward ourselves and others. In fostering compassion, we can also engage in practices that promote connection and understanding. The Buddha's teachings remind us that our actions ripple through the lives of those around us. By choosing to act with kindness and empathy, we contribute to a culture of peace and solidarity. Simple acts of generosity, be it a smile, a helping hand, or a listening ear, can profoundly impact others and create a sense of belonging in a world that often feels isolating. The journey toward resilience is not solely an individual endeavor, it requires community. In an age where many feel disconnected despite being more connected than ever, we must intentionally create spaces that foster genuine relationships. This can be achieved through shared mindfulness practices, community service initiatives, and open dialogues that encourage vulnerability and authenticity. Such environments not only provide support but also inspire collective growth, reminding us that we are all in this together. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, the teachings of the Buddha offer practical guidance for achieving balance. We can cultivate habits that reinforce mindfulness and moderation in our daily lives. For instance, creating a daily routine that incorporates moments of reflection, whether through meditation, journaling, or simple gratitude practices, can ground us in our intentions. Setting aside time to disconnect from technology and engage with the natural world can also foster a deeper sense of presence and awareness. Furthermore, we can examine our consumption patterns, both materially and digitally. By intentionally curating our environments, surrounding ourselves with uplifting content and meaningful relationships, we can diminish the influence of Mara in our lives. This might mean unfollowing social media accounts that evoke feelings of inadequacy or choosing to engage in hobbies that foster creativity and connection rather than mindless scrolling. Ultimately, the path to resilience and peace is about reclaiming agency over our lives. It involves recognizing that while we cannot control external circumstances, we can control our responses. By cultivating mindfulness and self-discipline, we empower ourselves to navigate challenges with grace and clarity. The teachings of the Dhammapada remind us that our thoughts and actions shape our experiences. By choosing to act from a place of awareness and intention, we can create a life that is rich with meaning and fulfillment. In embracing this journey, we must also acknowledge that setbacks are part of the process. Just as the storms of life can sometimes feel overwhelming, we may falter in our efforts to maintain balance. However, these moments of struggle can serve as valuable opportunities for growth. Each time we stumble, we can reflect on our choices and recommit to our path. This resilience, rooted in mindfulness and compassion, allows us to stand firm against the challenges that life presents. In conclusion, the teachings of the Buddha offer us a guiding light in a world often shrouded in confusion and distraction. By understanding the nature of Mara and the consequences of indulgence, we can cultivate the strength and awareness necessary to navigate life's storms. Through mindfulness, compassion, and community, we can foster a culture of peace, understanding, and resilience. The journey is not merely about avoiding the pitfalls of temptation, it is about embracing a life of purpose, connection, and joy. As we cultivate a deeper awareness of our minds and actions, we empower ourselves to create a brighter future, not only for ourselves but for those around us. The teachings of the Dhammapada encourage us to recognize the immense potential within each of us to transform our lives and, by extension, the world we inhabit. It is in this collective journey toward mindfulness and compassion that we can truly flourish, standing resiliently against the storms that may come our way. Final reflection, a call to action. In our fast-paced, consumer-driven world, the teachings of the Buddha resonate more profoundly than ever. The verse from the Dhammapada regarding Mara and the pursuit of pleasure serves as a crucial reminder of the need for mindfulness, moderation, and resilience. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, we must recognize the importance of cultivating a balanced approach to our thoughts, actions, and desires. In a society where instant gratification is readily available and distractions abound, many find themselves swept away by the currents of consumerism, social media, and the relentless pursuit of pleasure. This often leads to feelings of emptiness, anxiety, and discontent. Yet, as the Buddha teaches us, we can overcome these challenges by fostering a pure mind and nurturing resilience against the storms of life. Understanding the landscape of modern temptations. Today's cultural landscape is rife with temptations that mirror the challenges faced in ancient times. The digital age has brought forth a barrage of stimuli, notifications pinging, advertisements vying for our attention, and a constant stream of information that can overwhelm our senses. In this environment, the pursuit of pleasure has taken on new dimensions. Whether it's binge-watching series, compulsive online shopping, or seeking validation through social media, these distractions can become all-consuming. It's crucial to recognize that the roots of dissatisfaction often lie within our minds rather than in external circumstances. The incessant chase for pleasure can leave us feeling hollow, much like a tree stripped of its leaves. We may achieve temporary satisfaction, but it often comes at the cost of deeper fulfillment and inner peace. To combat this, we must develop the awareness to observe our habits and question our motivations. Ask yourself, are you seeking pleasure as a way to escape discomfort, or are you engaging in activities that genuinely nourish your spirit? This self-reflection is the first step toward creating a life grounded in mindfulness rather than indulgence. The power of mindfulness in everyday life. Mindfulness, the practice of being present and fully engaged in the moment, is a powerful antidote to the chaos surrounding us. It invites us to slow down and pay attention to our thoughts, emotions, and actions. By cultivating mindfulness, we can create space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, allowing us to break free from the grip of Mara. To integrate mindfulness into your daily life, consider starting with simple practices. Mindful breathing. Take a few moments each day to focus solely on your breath. Notice the sensations of inhaling and exhaling, and let go of distractions. This practice can ground you, providing clarity amidst the noise of daily life. Mindful eating. In a culture that often prioritizes convenience over consciousness, mindful eating encourages us to savor each bite. As you eat, take time to appreciate the flavors, textures, and aromas of your food. This practice not only enhances your appreciation of meals but also promotes healthier eating habits. Mindful listening. In our interactions with others, strive to be fully present. Listen without formulating your response while the other person speaks. This practice fosters deeper connections and mutual understanding, reducing conflict and promoting harmony in relationships. Setting boundaries and practicing moderation. Moderation is another essential aspect of cultivating a balanced life. In a world that often glorifies excess, we must challenge ourselves to find contentment in simplicity. This doesn't mean denying ourselves pleasure, rather, it involves embracing a more measured approach to our desires. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining balance in your life. Identify the areas where you tend to overindulge, be it food, screen time, or shopping, and establish limits. For instance, you might designate certain times for social media use or commit to only enjoying dessert on weekends. By setting clear boundaries, you create a framework that supports moderation and helps prevent impulsive behaviors. It's also helpful to engage in self-reflection regularly. Journaling can be a valuable tool for examining your relationship with pleasure and identifying patterns that may lead to imbalance. Ask yourself, what activities bring you genuine joy, and which ones feel like a distraction? By reflecting on these questions, you can make more conscious choices that align with your values and desires. Embracing a life of purpose and intention. In addition to mindfulness and moderation, cultivating a sense of purpose is vital for achieving lasting fulfillment. When we live with intention, we become less susceptible to the whims of distraction and the pressures of societal expectations. Purpose gives us direction and clarity, guiding our actions and decisions. Take time to explore what truly matters to you. What are your passions? What kind of impact do you want to make in the world? By clarifying your values and goals, you can align your daily actions with your larger purpose. This alignment creates a sense of fulfillment that transcends momentary pleasures. In today's culture, many people find purpose through service and community involvement. Volunteering or contributing to causes you care about can foster a sense of connection and fulfillment that goes beyond individual pursuits. Engaging with others in meaningful ways not only strengthens your sense of purpose but also creates ripples of positive change in society. Finding strength in community. While individual efforts are essential, the journey toward resilience and balance is often supported by a sense of community. Surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals who share your values can provide encouragement and accountability on your path to a balanced life. Consider joining mindfulness groups, book clubs, or community organizations that promote well-being and personal growth. Engaging in discussions about the teachings of the Buddha and their relevance to modern life can deepen your understanding and commitment to these principles. Moreover, fostering open conversations about challenges related to mindfulness and moderation can create a culture of support and understanding. In doing so, we can collectively resist the allure of Mara and empower one another to live lives rooted in purpose and balance. Practical steps toward transformation. As we reflect on the teachings of the Dhammapada and their relevance to contemporary society, it's essential to take actionable steps toward transformation. Consider the following strategies. Create a mindfulness routine. Designate specific times each day for mindfulness practices, whether it's through meditation, mindful eating, or breathing exercises. Consistency is key to reaping the benefits of mindfulness. Limit distractions. Identify your biggest distractions and set boundaries to reduce their impact. This might mean turning off notifications, setting screen time limits, or creating tech-free zones in your home. Engage in self-care. Prioritize self-care as an integral part of your life. Engage in activities that nourish your mind, body, and spirit, be it through exercise, hobbies, or spending time in nature. Cultivate gratitude. Develop a gratitude practice by regularly reflecting on the positive aspects of your life. This simple practice can shift your focus from what you lack to what you appreciate, enhancing your overall sense of well-being. Seek learning opportunities. Continuously seek opportunities for growth and learning, whether through reading, workshops, or attending talks on mindfulness and personal development. A journey of continuous growth. The journey toward resilience and inner peace is ongoing. Just as a tree must continually grow and adapt to its environment, we too must embrace change and evolve. Life will inevitably present challenges, but with the teachings of the Buddha as our guide, we can navigate these storms with strength and clarity. Embracing the wisdom of the Dhammapada is not a one-time event, it requires dedication and commitment. As you incorporate these teachings into your life, be patient with yourself. Progress may be slow, and setbacks may occur, but each step forward brings you closer to a life of balance and fulfillment. In conclusion, the teachings of the Buddha remind us that the storms of life can be weathered with mindfulness, moderation, and a strong sense of purpose. By cultivating a resilient mind and fostering a supportive community, we can break free from the shackles of distraction and find lasting peace. The path may not always be easy, but it is undoubtedly worth the journey. Through our efforts to live mindfully and with intention, we can create a world filled with compassion, understanding, and harmony, paving the way for a brighter future for ourselves and those around us. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's reading and found it inspiring. We look forward to seeing you next time as we continue our journey through the teachings of the Buddha. Your presence means a lot to us, and we can't wait to share more wisdom with you. Until then, take care and stay mindful.